Hey everybody, this is Garden Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Let's go on a tour. So this is my September update. Things have been really weird with the weather. It's been really cold for September here in Michigan, zone 5B in my particular area. We've actually had some nights that it's gotten down cold enough where it's been a light frost, and there has been some damage to my plants, and I'll show you that in a little while. But other than just some slight damage, it's really just stunted most of my garden as far as ripening. So we'll go through that as we go through the garden. Here is where I have cucumbers, and this corn here was planted by a furry friend of ours. And I also have, you can barely see them down here, those are yard-long pole beans. And I had planted them for a fall harvest, but as you can see they're still quite tiny. So I'm not sure if we'll get any beans or not before the end of the season, but we'll just keep an eye on it. And then we'll come on over. My girls are doing such a wonderful job making compost and just being good little hens. So, alright, and this is my butternut squash, or excuse me, buttercup squash. I always get the two confused, that we have growing up here on the chicken run. And in case you guys are wondering if you didn't see it before, the way that I keep my chickens from eating my plants is down along the bottom where they are, there's actually a double fencing down there where they can't actually reach through and eat the plants. And then as it gets up higher, they obviously can't reach that high. Now I want to show you something that's a little interesting. I try to check my squash every day, see if there's ones that need to be put in a sling or anything. And I had one squash that was really tight against the fence, just the way that it grew. And I was keeping an eye on it. Well, let me show you what happened to this squash here. It's grown into the fence because it was so tight up against it. But it's still growing. It hasn't injured itself yet. It hasn't split itself open. So we'll just keep an eye on that. And if it makes it through to harvest time, that'll be obviously eaten that day that it's harvested, because we're going to have to cut it out of that fence. But we do have some other squash going on there. And like I said, it's been really cold, so things are really behind. And not sure, what we're gonna get garden-wise. All right, let's take it over here. This is my glass gem corn. It's doing really well. I've got quite a few ears on it. Of course, they're not full yet. They're still developing, but quite a few ears. So I'm really excited about that. All right, and then this is the rest of the garden. I've already started pulling some of the plants that were done for the season. And I'll show you a couple of those as we go. This is the medicinal herb side, and I've got to pull that valerian root there. And some of the other plants, they are dead, and I have to take care of them. But I'm not in any hurry. This is one of my potato beds. As I've shared with you guys, I grow potatoes on top of soil and then cover it with a heavy layer of straw. And then I also have my mint in here as well. And then on this side is spaghetti squash. We have it growing up. And the yellowing is due to the weather. I also had squash bugs, so I did spray it with neem oil. And it did take me a couple applications because it was a pretty bad infestation. You can see all the deadness down there. But the neem oil worked. After about a week, the squash bugs are gone. But you can see that application of neem oil does take somewhat of a toll on the plants. So you have to be careful with it and know that you are probably going to suffer some plant damage from the neem oil, but it's better than having it completely destroyed by the squash bugs. Alright, and then my bee balm plant and my black beauty tomato, the kale. Kale is doing beautiful. It has not bolted because, like I said, it has been cold, and kale likes cold weather. So I still have quite a bit of kale that we're dehydrating. And then this is another tomato. As you'll notice on most of my tomatoes, they're green still because of the cold. I'm just now starting to get the turning of the colors. but most of them are still green, and that is again because it's been really cold. Look at this. This is the Amana orange tomato, and look at the size of this compared to my hand. Isn't that huge? And we do have some that are finally starting to turn, so that'll be exciting. So again, look at the size of those ones. I mean, they're not very small at all. Size of my hand compared to those guys. Oh yeah, beautiful tomatoes. So we'll see. And then we're gonna go back over here. Some more tomatoes. They are just starting to turn. And then I have these black beauties here, and I've been watching them because they're nice and beautiful and black. But I haven't figured out when they're ready to pick, because they're not willing to let go, and this has been on here for quite some time. So, see, it's not willing to let go. And I found out that when cutting these open, they're actually green on the inside, in case you were wondering. Alright. And then I want to show you what I did tonight. You see there's some fresh straw here in these tires, and that's where I grow a lot of my potatoes. I try to grow them in containers so I know where they are. And this is what I got from some of the ones I harvested today. Look at the size of that. And then we got the purple ones. And I actually had ones that were bigger than this, but those are what got replanted. We always give our best back. So that's my potatoes. And you can see I have eggplants here, but it's so far behind, I'm not sure if I'm going to get anything from them. Alright. And my Swiss chard is still doing really good. And these Brussels sprouts I had planted in the spring, and they really haven't grown that much. I started pulling some of the wax beans because they were dying, but I still have some left. Onions are doing pretty good. My nasturtiums, aren't they gorgeous? I have planted in here, you can't really see them because of the nasturtiums, but I do have sugar peas, or snow peas, a second set that was supposed to grow in the fall. And it's just, they're not taking off yet because it's been too cold. And then of course this is my forest of basil. It really needs to be trimmed. I haven't had time to do that yet, but it's doing really well. This is my succession planting of pole beans and snow peas, or sugar peas, sorry, sugar peas on this side, and they're finally starting to take off. And I wanted to show you something that's really, really cool. If you've never grown pole beans before, tip to know is they will grow very, very high. This trellis that I have made, these posts are about 12 feet high, 10 to 12 feet high, okay? So, and you can see they haven't gone very tall there, but watch as we go along here. Again, this is 10 to 12 feet high. And it's even started to wrap around the top of the pole there because it ran out of room. So if you're going to grow pole beans, they have to have room to grow. Alright, some more of my Amana orange tomatoes. Alright, this is a buttercup squash, or butternut squash. See, I told you I keep getting them confused. And you can see all the brown here, this is frost damage. This plant got hit the worst as far as frost. And I'm not sure why, because it's just like all the other squash. But anyways, I got one there and one there. We'll see if they make it. And then my zucchini, again, some frost damage. And then there's lemongrass there. This is the white boar squash. It finally took off. I have some growing on it. And then my cabbage. Some snapdragon flowers. You can see a lot of it's starting to die off because it is the end of the season. Alright, this is a pie pumpkin plant. Again, we had the neem oil because we had squash bugs, so some of these leaves are, you know, a dark color. And then this is a diatomaceous earth that's on this. It's not milky spore or powdery mildew. This is actually DE that I use to try to take care of those before the neem oil. But you can see I do have a pumpkin there. Another one's starting to grow there. And I did have this one here, but it's rotten. That's okay, it does happen. And over here, Again, I was supposed to have another succession of pole beans, but with it being cold, they're just kind of just there. And these ones are starting to die off. So. And then if you remember this bed, it was just full. I had a bunch of stuff in here. I had a bunch of rutabagas, carrots, turnips, things like that, and that all just got pulled out last week. I still have some onions back there, some cucumbers back there, some pole beans and things. And then Florence is still here. This is a Florence fennel. I left it here because the pollinators really enjoy it, and I'm hoping to get some seed from it. And then I'll plant some more next year. And my beautiful sage is doing really well. Still have celery there. Alright. And then we'll go out this way. We have 2 new additional containers I got from somebody. These will be used for potatoes next year or strawberries. Either one. They grow well in here. And then this is another squash. You see that one there. I want to show you the one that's back here. Look at the size of that thing. I mean, compared to my hand, that thing is huge. Okay. And then this is another white boar. And this, a month ago, last year, these things were bigger than my foot. And so you can see they're quite behind. All right, my elderberry plants I wanted to show you guys. They're starting to ripen. See some beautiful elderberries on there. These ones over here are ripe. They're ready to be picked, but we left these for the birds. And then the ones that are covered, I'll harvest them later. So 2nd year elderberry bush, really excited about that. Another squash plant. My yard is extensive back here, so what we tried to do was grow the squash and stuff that we couldn't fit in the garden on a trellis back here so it could grow and on the lawn. Alright, container bed. I have a marshmallow plant back here. Isn't it exciting? This was winter sown and I wasn't sure it was going to make it because it was really stunted, but it's done really well. Alright, and this container bed has left stuff to be desired. The coldness and then we had a flood, has really done some damage back here, but we still have growth. We still have beautiful tomatoes that are coming along. We have this volunteer squash. We're pretty sure it's a pumpkin. Then I do have some herbs and things. And then I have, don't you love it when you buy a plant thinking that it's something because it's labeled something and then it's completely different? These were supposed to be Better Boy tomatoes, which are a nice size slicing tomato. But as you can see, they're cherry tomatoes, cute little cherry tomatoes. I don't mind because I love cherry tomatoes, but it's definitely not what the label had read when I purchased the plant. Then another slow thing back here, these are Brussels sprouts. Again, they were planted in the spring. And I'll show you, I just pruned these the other day. They're just now starting to get the sprouts. So, just been a really weird year. Lemon boys, aren't they pretty? And then some more cherry tomatoes there. And then I'll take you to the last spot that was a surprise this year for us. We didn't plant it, our furry friends planted it for us. And I wanted to show it to you because it's just really astounding. Excuse me. And all this grass that you see here is because we just mowed this back here. We haven't mowed it in a while because we were thinking the squash plants were going to take this over. So we weren't too worried about mowing it. Alright, last spot. Now this is one of our prized possessions this year because it was given to us by God and taken care of by God. It's just amazing. This is a combination of 2 plants. I have a squash plant and a pumpkin plant here. And again, we didn't plant them here. They were planted by critters, but you can see they're beautiful. And they're this way because this is actually our septic field. So they're getting plenty of fertilizer here. But they're just gorgeous plants. And I'll see if I can show you some here. There's one there. That's not the biggest one, but that was the one most easily able to show you. Like I said, where the squash are growing, we don't even bother mowing. No need to until after the squash are gone. So let's see, trying to get in here, see what, there's a baby pumpkin there. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to, there's another one there, show you the other ones because they're further back in there now, and they're just a nice size. But anyways, that's what the garden looks like right now in our surprise little garden that we weren't expecting. The cold snap's really thrown us off, but we're rolling with it. We know that the Lord's got this, and so we just put our trust in Him, and we're so thankful for what we do have. Well, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the comment box below. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel so you can get notifications of when the next video is going. And if you really like the video, please take a moment and share it with your friends. Thank you so much, everybody. This is Garden Jen from Garden Jen's Journey. Bye-bye now.